What is up, Frog fans? Welcome to Postgame Beers, the Thursday deep dish. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I am your host, JD Sailors. That is your co-host, Martin Guerrero. And in the top left, for those watching on YouTube, is the very caffeinated producer, Ray Cartwright. Ray, why are you so jacked up?
Dude, you want to say caffeinated, dude? I think I've had Starbucks. I've had my regular cup of coffee, and I've probably had 2 Celsiuses throughout the day today.
The fact that I had to push this back twice doesn't bother you. Apparently.
No, dude, we're going to midnight tonight.
Probably that gas station Rhino pill you took.
Yeah,
because it gets you hard.
I knew a sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. Our actual sponsors, though, are Long Drink. Of course, you can go to Specs, pick up your Long Drink. Dude, we got perfect weather. Ray's rocking the peach right now. Perfect weather at Lupton this weekend. So before you hit up the tailgate, before you go inside the stadium, swing by Keen's, swing by Specs, pick up your Long Drink. They have the seasonal pineapple. They have the peach. They got the cranberry. They got the OG citrus. They got the big black can. So go pick those up. Also brought to you by Chinook Ceadery, ChinookCeadery.com. Go order your mix and match flavor pack at ChinookCeadery.com. Use promo code LDC. Get 10% off your order. And of course, brought to you by Anduno Travel Bags. Anduno.us is where you'll find these lovely, useful, spacious travel bags. Use it as a gym bag. Use it as a carry-on for your flight. What's our next? We got to go to Orlando next week, right?
Orlando is next week. Dude, you've got a little trip planned this weekend.
Got a little trip planned. I'm going to pack my Anduno tonight. Man, probably tomorrow. Let's not lie. I'm going to pack my Anduno, and I'm going to go north to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and see them boys from Oklahoma cross Canadian ragweed. Are you guys fans of cross Canadian ragweed?
No, but I do have it's not really.
How did you avoid it? It was right in our high school wheelhouse when they were peaked.
Oh, I was emo. High school, Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
Census Fan, My Chemical Romance, Fallout Boy. Black Hair.
I came to like those bands later in life, but in high school, I was all about rap. Paul Wall and Chameleonaire, Swish a House.
50 Cent.
50 Cent. Eminem, of course, but Cross Canadian Ragweed was also at the top of my list. So they broke up in 2010. This is their first concert back together 15 years later. Hell is frozen over. They will be at Boone Pickens Stadium. They start right about now. The first show's tonight. I'll be there for the Saturday show, and I can't wait.
So they can knock the rust off, and so they're fully ready to go.
Exactly.
Tomorrow you're there.
I didn't want to go. So they did a little small, 6-song pilot concert back in January, and people were like, well, I don't need to go to Stillwater. I could see them tonight. Enjoy your 6 songs while they're it's like spring training. They're working on a new slider.
Yeah, knock the kink on, my cobwebs in the voice.
So I'll get to see the full 20 song 2-hour set is, what I'm presuming. There's also some other bands. One of them is really popular. I can't remember the name of it.
Eli Young.
No, but Jason Boland will be there.
Okay.
Man, I'm blanking on the
Will the Stragglers be there? If Jason Boland's going to be there, will the Stragglers?
Yeah.
They straggling kind of behind.
Stony LaRue. Can I interest you in Stony LaRue? And
that's like right after high school. Then I moved into that Texas country kind of phase.
Who's that band everyone loves? Oh, God, Turnpike Troubadours. They'll open right before Cross. And I'm not a huge Turnpike fan. I'll probably love it when I'm there. But
will William Clark Green be there?
Sadly, no.
No,
but it's going to be a loaded show, man. I mean, these tickets were really hard to get, at least face value. I was lucky enough to get through the queue. Many others were not. So
yeah, I remember when they announced the show back in the fall, late last summer.
Yeah.
And other group chats that I'm involved in were buzzing.
Yeah,
trying to get tickets.
Yep. It's going to be a great time, man. I'm looking forward to it. So, we also have Frog Ball to talk about. We had a sweep against BYU. We had a letdown game Tuesday night in Arlington.
Not so good.
Let's start, Martin, if you don't mind. Let's start with that Tuesday night game because I think that's what's freshest on everyone's mind, and we haven't talked about it yet. We recapped the BYU series, and we'll talk plenty more about that too. But what happened against UTA?
I think they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar a little bit. Nobody thinks UTA is better than TCU, do they?
They're really, as we said on Monday night, they're a bad team.
Yeah.
We lost to a bad team, which if you look, okay, let me just say this up front. If you look around the league, there are teams who are ranked in the top 5 that have lost to bad teams. There are teams ranked, teams that you think are good. Kansas just lost the other night, and we're all like ready for Kansas, and it happens. But we talk about TCU. I just want to give a little bit of perspective and say bad losses do happen. Even in TCU's best years, we've had bad losses against bad teams.
Definitely. The biggest thing for me was that it kind of follows the trend for the year where they just refuse to continue to pick up momentum.
They're allergic to sustained success.
Yeah. So, like, we had a sweep against BYU. This is, the third week of playing one of the worst teams in the Big 12. And, we finally got a sweep. And the next thing we do is lose to UT Arlington. And it's probably one of the worst UT Arlington teams ever. They're like bottom 50 teams out of 300 and something in almost every offensive category, which is very hard to do when you play in the WAC.
Yeah, right. Because you see some less than stellar pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a bad UTA team, but as I warned the group chat, I watched them play Texas, and they were tied with Texas going into the 8th inning.
And then what happened?
Before Texas won 7-2, but it was a 2-2 game.
I mean, I would have taken that because the way that game was trending was, all right, it's going to be a tight for a while, but UTA is eventually going to run a pitcher out there that we're just going to, have a big inning against and put this thing away. And that never happened.
Yeah. Also, about a year ago, TCU went to UT Arlington and lost. And then you know what happened after that?
No.
They got swept by Cincinnati.
Shit. Yeah, I don't love that.
No.
It's
almost like a year to the day.
Yeah. So we talked about the April woes, and you would think like 2 against UTS, or I'm sorry, 1 against UTSA to start the month. Good. It's a good win. And then getting the sweep against BYU, although it was an adventure at the end, also good.
Yep.
So they've at least shown that they can win this month. Do you think this is the start of a slide? I mean,
obviously, I hope it's not. I would really like it to have been, they were looking ahead to the Kansas series, and it's very. We've been to games in Arlington. It is very hard to bring your own energy, right?
Yeah, dude, that crowd that place will lull you to sleep.
Yeah.
And what you said there, Martin, shouldn't be understated because I forget who's the LSU head coach now.
Jay Johnson.
Jay Johnson. So I heard him say a few weeks ago that, look, I'm the last guy in the world that'll ever admit we look ahead, but we kind of have to. And I don't think it's as extreme in the Big 12, but if you're going to say like there's one midweek game that TCU would be looking ahead, wouldn't it be this one?
I mean, just look at, it's not like they're running Braden Sloan out there when things are getting a little wonky.
Yeah.
Right?
But they did run guys out there that we expect to get hitters out, like on a UTA team.
I mean, you would hope that TCU has such a superior talent advantage that anyone that they ran out there would have the talent advantage.
So pulling up. All right. So here's some evidence for look ahead theory. our defense contributed negative 20% to the win probability. And that's focus, that's execution, kind of the things that you expect to falter when you're looking ahead. Now, Ray, you brought up, okay, we're not throwing our best arms, but pitching only contributed negative 7%. So our defense was almost 3 times as bad as our pitching. Offense was negative 40%. That's where things really kind of fell apart. But, I mean, even if you're not hitting, if you just make plays in the field, you're at least in it there at the end to win.
I guess it just didn't, man, I don't know. Watching it live, it was such a weird experience watching that game throughout because it didn't feel like any one aspect of the team was greatly affecting.
I agree with you. And
the
we
negative
should
outcome of that
we
game.
should credit. I think the UTA pitchers did a stellar job.
Yeah.
I think they threw well.
It felt like, we'd have a couple cool things happen, like Carson hit a home run or Stroh-Snyder hit a home run, and then it kind of like fast forwarded to the 9th inning and we're losing. And
a little bit of a defense let down in the 7th that kind of really swung the game.
Yeah.
She's kind of, I don't even remember that. Maybe I just blocked that game out so quick that
look,
I don't remember.
Let me just go ahead and throw a hot take out there. We are now at a point in the season where we have 0 unimportant games. I would say UTA, if you're going to call a game unimportant, it would be that one. You can agree or disagree, but I think we can all agree that going forward, we have conference games and DBU.
Yeah.
Every single one of those games is important. And I say that to say, I want Carson Bowen catching behind the plate every game going forward. Is that crazy to ask?
No. I mean, you would kind of expect it, right? Because you're, like you said, back half of the season. You've been resting Carson while he's, he has been coming back from injury, right?
Yeah, but
you have a good freshman.
He's playing really well. He doesn't look injured at all. He doesn't look like he's coming back.
But yeah, this is the time of year you kind of expect that workload to increase.
Right. Like, I think Nolan Traeger has promise in the future. I don't think he should be the guy behind the plate right now.
Yeah. I mean, not over Carson, right? I mean, UTA, I don't mind.
I don't either. Because I would classify that as an unimportant game. But going forward, I need my junior catcher behind the plate every game.
Your field general. He's your field general.
Yeah.
And look, let's face it, by every metric, he's a better offensive catcher. He's a better defensive catcher. Like and this isn't limited to just catcher. I think going forward, we need to play top guns every game.
Yeah, and I think the mantra for the season has really been play who's hitting or play who's playing well, and I feel like they've done that for the most part this year.
I agree.
I don't think there's anybody rotting on the bench who should be playing right now. So yeah, I think we will see a lot of Carson behind the plate. Maybe not every single game the rest of the way, but I think for sure the lion's share of the games, and it's what I called for early in the season, was any important game Carson needs to be catching. Are we done talking about UTA? I really don't.
Yeah.
Want to
so Matt was asking about Baumler defense, and I think I might have misread the play-by-play. I thought it was a Traeger throwing error in the 7th. Turns out I'm looking at it again, Matt, and this was a Baumler throwing error.
Yeah, PFP.
Yeah, I was watching on my phone. I was also eating dinner. I was a little I just misunderstood who threw the ball away. So that's my bad.
That was a weird play because that was on a bunt.
Yes, I do remember that.
Who was playing second? I think they were late
Kramer?
getting.
Kramer,
I think Kramer was late getting over to first. That caused Baumler to kind of hesitate for a second, and he wasn't.
See, in my mind, that was
confident in
Traeger
that.
throwing the ball. That's where I screwed up. So
No, so I mean, I don't entirely put that one on Baumler.
well,
All right.
regardless,
What do
I
you think
mean,
about losing to UTA as a whole? Do you think it's a trend? Like, do you think it's a sign of things to come? Do you think it was a one-off? Do you think they were looking ahead? I pretty much know what Jacob thinks. I think we both have said what we feel. Ray, you're the only one left.
Ooh.
Well, I
Oh,
think
boys, strap in. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
going to
Ray,
give
go ahead.
myself 27 and a half minutes to give my thoughts.
You
on
got 11
UTA going
seconds.
40. No, I don't think it's a trend. I mean, there were 10 and 2, 8 and 2 over the last 10
I think
games.
he's talking about the April trend. Like, is it a
Oh,
sign
the
of things-
April?
Yeah.
The sign of things to come. No, because like we discussed on last week's Deep Dish, I think this year's different. I think the depth on this team is much better.
I think the offense is way better too, which can dig you out of a lot of holes, as we saw on Friday. Excuse me, against BYU.
So no, I don't think that this is going to kickstart where we're coming back a week from now and we're like, holy shit, we just got swept by Kansas. We lost to DBU.
I do have concerns.
Now we're
about
staring
Kansas.
Central Florida right down that road trip.
I mean, we'll get to them. I don't think they're very good, and we're good.
That's
on
what
the
I
road.
said about Cincinnati last year. It
But-
feels very similar.
But we won like 4 games on the road last year.
Yeah, but we were also was that coming off of the Oklahoma series?
I don't think so.
Those were pretty close.
I don't think we had back-to-back sweeps. I think there was a series in between, maybe Texas Tech. No,
Did Oklahoma sweep
was
us?
early. Oklahoma was like the first.
Oklahoma's like the first. It was the second.
Kansas, Kansas, and then Oklahoma.
And then we had a good series, and then I think we got swept by West Virginia. Anyway, I want to get to this. Thomas, he brings up a pretty good point here. I'll paraphrase. He's essentially saying, well, TCU doesn't have the luxury of losing to UTA because we don't get how should I say this in a family-friendly manner? The SEC benefit of RPI. Martin and I call it something else in our text messages.
Can we not say that?
Say it.
I don't feel like it, man.
Right.
I don't feel
Martin,
like
say
it.
No, I won't say it. But so basically, I was looking at the RPI, and pretty much everybody in the top 15 is the SEC team. I looked at why. So all of them, pretty much every team in the SEC has like a 200th ranked non-conference strength of schedule. So the conference as a whole has like 88 non-conference winning percentage.
88%.
Yeah. So basically what they do is rack up the wins against nobodies and then play each other. So then everybody in the conference has a high RPI.
It's essentially what everybody gets mad about with the Big 12 in basketball, but for some reason in baseball, it's like, well, the SEC's just good.
They'll play one big game in a preseason tournament instead of like a weekend series. So they're like, oh, look at who they beat. One off.
Yeah. That's how you get a like 10 and 20 Florida team getting in the tournament. Well, I mean, shit, look at their RPI,
dude.
you know? Now, I want to address how much it hurt us. So if we had won, we would have gotten -7 RPI points. Losing got us like -70. Now, the teams around us also lost. Some of them, like, I don't know, Kansas, for example, they dropped 9 spots in RPI. We dropped 4 spots. So it's not that it really dropped us a ton. It's just we lost opportunity now to climb further into the top 20, maybe the top 15, and put us in like no doubt hosting territory. Now we're going to have to kind of claw our way out of that. But we'll have our opportunities. I mean, we have some teams. We have Arizona. We have Kansas, who are good RPI teams. So we'll have our chances to get back up there. DBU,
question.
good RPI team. Yeah.
Right now, in the Big 12, does the Big 12 champion host?
Yes, without a doubt.
You think so?
I think we can get 2, potentially 3 is a stretch, but I think 2. I think 1 is a certainty. I think 2 is, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Got to be that
And
top
then
16.
3. I mean, you don't have to be top 16 in RPI.
They don't have to be.
I mean,
But
TCU.
I mean, I think Kansas, Arizona, and TCU, I think they're in good shape to host right now.
Right now, yeah.
Arizona State could get there. Kansas State could get there. And then if Oklahoma State is anywhere close, they'll give them a host.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, they got a nice ballpark.
They need to go on a run.
Yeah, money.
All right. Real quick, I haven't really reviewed this a ton, so we'll just go over it real quick. And if you guys see anything noteworthy, this is the part of the podcast where I shout out those watching on YouTube, so you get to follow along with the visual aids that I prepared. Now, some good vetting by me while I shared my screen. I want credit for that, Ray. All right, so this is the last week of offensive win probability added. Jack Arthur with his home run against BYU and his 1 at bat. You see what that did. He had 1 at bat. It added 7.23% to win probability. So his average for the last week is 7.23. Pretty nice. You get 1 at bat and you hit a game-changing home run. So that's why you get a big green bar.
Every ball player's dream.
Brody Green benefited from a huge hit by pitch in the 11th before the eventual game-winning run came in. Sam Myers, let's see. What did Sam Myers do? I know he had the bunt hit that went for an error. And I've filtered out defense. So I think this is another one, limited at bats, but productive limited at bats. And then we get into the regulars. We have Carson Bowen, who had a huge week, Cole Kramer, Jack Bell, Chase Brunson. Now, Sawyer Stroh-Snyder is interesting because if you look back at his last 4 games, he went 4 for 4 against UTA. He tore up BYU on Thursday. What's hurting him on this graph is his 1 for 6 on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some feedback. You getting feedback?
I'm not.
It's getting on my nerves. Do we fight through it?
Well, it ain't me because I've been muted.
Let's see. Check. It only started when you muted, and now it stopped when you unmuted.
Huh.
Anyway, let's press on with the show. So Sawyer Stroh-Snyder, it's weird to see him kind of in the middle of this graph, but he had some really important at-bats there on Friday that kind of hurt his average. Let's see. Cadena, Franco, they were kind of hit or miss over the last week. Colton Griffin in his comeback, also I would say hit or miss. And then Nolan Traeger in 1 game, Anthony Silva over the last 4 games, they both struggled a little bit offensively.
Cadenas would have been higher if they didn't strike him out on a hit by pitch.
Remind me. Was this
ninth
late
inning
UTA?
Yeah.
UTA?
Yeah, I'd already kind of checked. I checked out after the throwing error.
You want to hear a funny story about the Jack Arthur Big Green Bar?
What?
Yes.
So at the Railhead, Stroh-Snyder was doing an interview, and he said that they had just hit that grand slam, I think, and gone down by 6 for the second time in the game, and Stroh-Snyder was next to Jack Arthur, and Jack Arthur said, "We're going to win this game." And they went up there, he hit a 2-run home run, and they won the game.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the offense. It's from the season as a whole. Sawyer just carrying the load. Colton Griffin still benefiting from pre-injury. Carson Bowen has made the most dramatic shift on this graph, where I think maybe 3 weeks ago or so, he was kind of more on this far right range with a medium red bar. He's now a solid, steady green bar. Cole Kramer, Chase Brunson, Jack Bell, even important at bats. And then you get into guys who are kind of flashy hit or miss. Brody Green, Isaac Cadena, Nolan Traeger. Franco. All right, here's what's weird about Franco. So I think as the season goes, you start to see a little more mismatch between overall numbers and win probability added, because Franco really benefited from garbage time at bats against BYU. You know, he had the 5-for-5 game. I think 4 of those counted for less than 1% win probability added because we were up by so big. So there is going to start to be a disparity between overall numbers and win probability added, which is why, you know, we kind of look at both, right? So to get an overall picture. And then when you kind of get over here to the far right, you see guys that are just kind of having down offensive years overall. Anthony Silva, although he flashes from time to time, none of these guys in the red are like, holy shit, we got to get them out of the lineup red. I mean, everybody except Jack Arthur is under 1% negative win probability added. So overall, pretty good lineup.
Question with Franco.
Okay.
And, you know, numbers versus win probability added and all that. I feel like Franco does most of his damage in a game early in a game, like within the first 2 at bats. And so would that not affect win probability as much as if he was doing that, let's say, in like the 8th inning?
Yeah, correct. So if you're in a close game in the 8th inning, like we just looked at Jack Arthur, right? 2-run home run. It didn't even tie the game. It brought him within 1, and he got 7% for that 1 at bat. Whereas if it happens earlier in the game, I think it would be around the same amount, except
like, do you have UTA charted out? Like, how much did that Sawyer Stroh-Snyder home run? How much win prob did that add?
Give me 3 seconds. So I don't have it by at bat, but Sawyer overall for UT. Were you asking about? Who were you asking about?
Sawyer.
Yeah, sorry. So overall, so he was 6.88 per at bat.
Or Paul, as more commonly referred to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the nickname. So that's per at bat, right? So we had 4 at bats. So he added about 26% overall.
Yeah, he was also like 4 for 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Against UTA.
That was his average. I can't.
But just my thinking is that, you know, you're not going to add a lot of win prob early in a game versus late game situation.
Yeah, it depends. It really depends on the situation.
I mean, same thing for, like, we say how Tommy Lepore doesn't have a high pitching WAR or win prob or whatever. Like, because he's doing all his work early on in a game. He's not pitching those late inning.
Well, and with starters, you're facing more hitters. Like if you're a reliever and you come in for 1 inning and you get 2 strikeouts and a ground out, then your win probability per hitter is going to be really high, right? Whereas as a starter, it's going to be, okay, you get a strikeout and then maybe a walk, and then those 2 things cancel out, right?
Right.
So the more hitters you face, the more likely you are to have a lower win probability added per at bat. Like Cade Udy is now our pitching leader at 1.48 per at bat.
How much did Sloan's rocky outing against BYU drop him?
Significantly. So his 1 outing against BYU, he was negative 1.5 per hitter.
Oof.
So, yep. Tough night for Sloan. Hey, I'm going to switch gears. I want to ask you guys a question. This was on my mind. I think when we do these deep dishes and we talk about the upcoming opponent, we should kind of take accountability of what did we think, what happened, and what was different, right? So going back to Houston, I think we pretty much nailed it on the head, right? So we'll skip. Yeah, so then let's go to
Peter. I think we've been
so
on the heater.
let's talk about BYU. What did we think? Well, let's talk about BYU. What did we think? Well, odd pitching strategy. We're going to have to out-hit them in the first game. Check mark. We did that, right? We won, 11-6, 11 to whatever. All right. From there, we have Tommy Lepore, we have Braden Sloan, we have Cademan Parker. So game 2, Tommy Lepore, we're going to just kick their pitching's ass, and Tommy Lepore is going to do his thing. Check mark, right? Would you agree? Like, we nailed game 1,
I'm tracking,
we nailed
dude.
game 2. Okay.
We're on fire. Take
now
us
game three, we were all there, and I was thinking, we're about to just kick their ass early again, and we got Cademan and Sloan. We're going to get out of here. Well, the offense did their part, but we had a really weird pitching night from Cademan and Sloan. So I give us half a check mark for that one. Is that fair? Like if we're self-auditing?
Yeah, maybe 33% of a check mark.
We put up 11 runs in 8 innings. I would say offensively, that's a check mark.
Yes.
Okay. What we didn't see coming was
the pitching, the starter pitching very good to start the game.
Yeah, but even if that happens, he can only pitch for, and we still got to him. He still gave up like 5 runs in 5 innings overall, even
Eventually,
if they all came in 1 inning. Yeah.
It took a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like we're going to just go out and blow him out inning 1. I mean, we scored 11 runs in 8 innings or 12 runs. Was it 12 runs? It doesn't matter. Point is, the offense did what we thought they would do. What we didn't see coming was Sloan and Cademan having off nights at the same time.
No, couldn't have seen that at all. You can expect to see, you'll see every now and then one or the other have a bad night, right? That's baseball. Very rarely, super rare, you hope, it's the same night.
Right. And even if they do, now you bring Baumler in and he has a rough night. You bring Feaster in, he gives up a big home run. I mean,
I think that was like first or second pitch too. I mean,
from Feaster?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they brought him in mid at bat 2-0. I mean, bases were loaded. You had to throw a strike.
Yeah.
Everybody in the ballpark knew he was going to throw a strike.
But finally, we got
no one's saying it wasn't a tough situation.
Yeah. But Cade Udy came down and was kind of the hero for the pitching staff. Not kind of, definitely was.
Wasn't it Caden Smith?
No, sorry, Caden Smith. Sorry. We have too many guys on this team with similar names. I think we have 3 Cole or Coltons.
Yeah, dude. Colton, easy to mix up. I found that out.
Caden.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we're about to talk about Kansas. And I want us to be accountable for what we think is going to happen. And I think so far, guys, we're doing a pretty damn good job of nailing down what's going to happen in these series, right?
Good job, Martin.
So let's keep that going.
Everyone give Martin a round of applause. In fact, actually tweet at him that he's doing a great job.
I don't even have a Twitter. I'm going to delete it.
Jacob, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting?
I've worked really hard on this shit, but okay.
What's really interesting is both teams only named their starter for Friday.
Ooh, mind games.
Do they have Vagey going? Vogel? Dominic Vogel.
Yeah, Dominic Vogel is pitching on Friday against Tommy Lepore. I guess less surprised that TCU went TBA because of Cademan's, I guess, couple of rough outings lately. I was really surprised that Kansas has TBA because their usual Saturday night pitcher is
Cooper Moore.
And he is second in the conference in ERA, right behind Tommy Lepore.
Yep. Cooper Moore is their top P-WAR pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Just ahead of Dominique Vogel.
Yeah, Vogel he struggled in, non-conference or whatever. He's been more steady throughout the year, steadily good. But I think he might I think he missed a week with an injury recently, and then his last outing, I think he went 8 innings against UCF. Maybe he re-aggravated that injury, and maybe that's why he's listed as TBA. But I would be kind of surprised if he doesn't pitch against TCU.
So were you talking about Cooper Moore?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. That's a huge loss for Kansas if they don't have Cooper Moore going this weekend.
You
You
think
can
they're
see he's-
fucking with us?
I was
Me
about to
specifically?
ask
think
the
so.
same thing.
You don't think so?
I honestly don't think so.
I feel like he's just fucking with me specifically.
Well,
Danny
more
Fitz
likely.
has Martin
Yeah,
in
more
his
likely.
crosshairs.
So another reason why I thought maybe so let's say he re-aggravated an injury or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kansas plays Kansas State. They host Kansas State next week.
Look
So
ahead
you-
series.
Yeah.
Sunflower Showdown.
Yeah.
Which that pisses me off more. That Kansas State Kansas is looking ahead past us.
All right, swallow your pride. Take the 2 out of 3. All right. Take your 2 out of 3 and run. If they want to, if Kansas State is their Super Bowl and they only circle them on their calendar while we're worried about winning championships, so be it.
All right.
All right. So from a pitching matchup, they have Cooper Moore. They have Dominic Vogel. Vogel goes Friday night against Lepore. Advantage TCU. Slight. Vogel's very good, but advantage TCU.
I mean,
all right.
That's got to be
Vogel was the preseason
Big 12 pitcher of the
year.
year.
Yeah, he kind of sucked in
but nobody knew what Tommy Lepore was either. Tommy
think a lot of
Lepore is
people
kicking
knew
his ass
Tommy
in P-War.
Yeah, Tommy Lepore has been very good. I agree. Vogel, I mean, fuck, man, he's 2-0 against us. Really pisses me off that.
Yeah,
he's
I don't
2-0
love that.
against us.
I don't love that. No.
Fucking ended our season last year. I mean, if there's one guy that this TCU team really needs to fucking like get their juices flowing, it's got to be this guy that ended their fucking season last year.
Yeah. All right. I will say slight advantage TCU in game 1, pitching wise.
Let's clip that. I want to clip that and post it
All right.
everywhere.
Now, going to game 2, if they don't have Cooper Moore, that's a gigantic loss for them because after that they have Cameron Carr, which I'm going to assume is a reliever. I'm going to assume he's a reliever. But they have, dude, after that, we have one game in the series, and then it's like even pitching for the rest of the series. And also, if Cademan's healthy and he goes, the only reason he's limited on this chart is because of innings pitched, not necessarily because of production. And we still have Braden Sloan up here. We still have him to go. So if Moore doesn't go for Kansas, this is looking like at least 2 out of 3 for TCU. If you only look at pitching.
Carr has started 4 games on the year.
Oh, he has. So he might be their Sunday guy.
Could be a Tuesday guy.
Oh, Moore? Wait, you said Moore?
No, Carr. Carr
okay.
has 4 starts on the year.
Okay, so that's their Sunday guy. So I would give Kansas the advantage on Sunday, which is fine if we win Friday and Saturday.
I mean, it could be Wes Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
I would
he's
say
second
Sunday,
on the team in starts. Patrick Steets.
He was their Sunday starter last year. He's really good, but he keeps getting injured.
So I would say this. I would say, here's how I'll predict this. Pitching matchup, advantage TCU on Friday, 50-50 on Saturday and Sunday.
If Cooper Moore pitches.
50-50 is a good probability with TBA versus TBA.
Yeah, pretty much.
Both days.
And if you just look at their pitching as a whole, you have a couple standouts on each team and then a big gaggle of middle, right? That's a simple way to look at it.
So with TCU going TBA, who do you think starts on Saturday?
Jeez, dude, I haven't even thought that far, to be honest with you.
I'm thinking Sloan. I'm thinking they start Sloan.
I bet it's Cademan, man.
You think?
Yeah, and I think Sloan's. I think it's the same as last week.
Well, you need 2 starters.
Yeah, I
You
know.
need 3 starters.
Well,
Well,
no, I
outside
mean
of Lepore.
outside of Lepore.
Oh,
Come on
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Come on now.
I think they start Sloan Saturday.
Okay, I mean we've been waiting for it.
Sunday. Yeah.
Now, do
I think
you
it
throw
makes the
Sloan
most
in
sense
after his
right
worst
now.
outing of the year?
Man.
Yeah,
Well,
I would.
Sloan's going to be looking for some revenge because he had a pretty rough
Yeah.
outing starting against Kansas last year.
Is it too early to ask if this is going to be a natural regression for Sloan, or that was a one-off outlier last week?
I would say I would lean more outlier, but
Now, he was due for some regression. He wasn't going to
Yeah,
be Mr. Automatic all year.
Right.
But
He
that
wasn't gonna be
was some
called the
pretty
Klops.
extreme regression, what we saw on Friday.
I would need to see it 2 times in a row.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think he probably starts on Saturday. Just because, we talked a lot about at the beginning of the season, why would you move him from Friday night to pitch on Sundays? This is a little different. Pitching on Saturdays.
Only if he was needed.
If you got TBA, that sounds like he's needed.
Yeah. Because I mean, we've been going to these weekends with 1 TBA. Now we have 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I mean,
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
slide Cademan to Sunday. Could work out.
Yep. But pitching is not all. We also have offense.
oh god.
And this is where, to me, the series is a little more predictable. Okay, so you have Kansas on the left here.
my god.
Yeah, hold on. So you have Kansas on the left, you have TCU on the right.
That's scary.
If you start with Jackson Hogg, whatever the hell,
Boss
then
hog.
the offense on each team is very similar, right?
Oh, okay. You'd say take a what's his name? Dog.
Hold on. We're building up to this. The thing with Kansas, and this is where the series really swings. This is where it goes from 2 out of 3 for Kansas or 2 out of 3 to TCU. First baseman, Brady Ballinger. Right now, he is your absolute, no doubt, Big 12 Conference Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd push back with Sawyer. I'd throw Sawyer in there, but
No, sorry.
Let me talk a little bit about this Ballinger kid.
Yeah,
Is
So
he
he's a
related to
sophomore.
Cody?
So he's a sophomore first baseman from Las Vegas. He transferred in from College of Southern Nevada. I think that's where Bryce Harper went.
Did Bryce go there?
Bryce
Oh,
went
as
to-
like a as like a
Bryce
high
was a-
schooler.
Bryce was
Yeah.
a TCU commit before he went pro.
Yeah.
I think he won the Golden Spikes at Southern Nevada.
Wasn't he like 16 years old though? Like,
Yeah, he took his GED thing and went to go play with his brother. Anyways,
that's crazy.
so this guy is hitting 411 with a 563
God.
on base, 791 slugging. He's got a 1.354 OPS. He's got 12 home runs, 11 doubles, 39 RBI, 40 walks to 24 strikeouts.
Please stop. It hurts my ears.
No.
That
Let me
40
put
walks.
this. Let me put this into some context.
Yeah.
He ranks in the Big 12. He ranks second in average. He ranks first in OPS, first in runs, first in hits, seventh in doubles, second in home runs, second in RBI, first in total bases, first in slugging, second in on base, and first in walks.
Well, now that we have the bad news out of the way,
Would you classify that as good?
he's the number 1 player in WAR in the entire country.
I have some worse news for you guys.
Oh,
Hell yeah, let's go.
Some of those where he finished second, he finishes behind his teammate,
Oh shit.
the
Let me
Jack
guess.
Hog.
Jackson Hogg.
Boss hog.
So Ballinger usually hits second for the Jayhawks. Behind him is the Jack Hog, and he's hitting
Don't call him
331.
Jack Hogg.
Crank that hog.
No, it's Jackson. We're gonna call him Jackson.
So he's hitting 331 with a 433 on base, and he's slugging 721. He is fifth in the Big 12 in OPS. He's first in home runs, first in RBIs, second in total bases, and fourth in slugging. So he's the transfer from a Division II school, Minnesota State Mankato.
What
But
the hell is Fitz finding these guys?
But that's what I said at the beginning of the year. That's what I said last year. Kansas has been doing this for 2 years. They're not scared to go fucking find these guys in the middle of nowhere.
God,
JUCO ball,
why do you care so
D2 ball.
much?
Because
Stop caring.
now we are
Martin hates Kansas.
Just be friends with some local dads and take their kids. Like, chill out, man.
now
Well, the
we
good
are
news
competing
is-
with Kansas.
The good news
For the
is
Big 12 title.
after the two hitters that are higher on this chart than Sawyer Stroh-Snyder is they only have 3 more really good hitters in their lineup.
Their lineup is very deep. So I mean, those are the two like buzz guys, but their center fielder, leadoff hitter Derek Serta is hitting 312 with a 467 on base, and their leadoff guy is slugging over 600.
Shit, he's not even on here. Where's he at on here?
He's probably in one of those that clump of 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Probably.
Is it more than 3?
I mean, could be. It could be like right behind Daniel Ocioria.
Probably. So if this guy's been dealing with some injuries. Michael Brooks, third baseman. I've been pretty big on him. Last year he was pretty good. Had an injury, missed the last month of the season. This year, I think he had a injury early, but this is what he's hitting in conference play. He's hitting 396 with a 537 on base and a 750 slugging. He plays very good defense. I think he's probably their best hitter.
Yeah. He's
as
a very
far
good
as-
defender.
Yeah.
Very, very good defender.
Yeah, he's their best pro potential player in my opinion.
I would say defense in this series is kind of a wash. I think both teams are very good at it. I don't see a distinct advantage for us on defense, but we do have Anthony Silva, who's kind of a cheat code at shortstop. So I don't think defense is going to swing this series like it did against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to, I was ready to say, okay, we have to deal with Ballinger for, let's say, 13 at-bats. What does he do in those 13 at-bats? I think TCU did a pretty good job against the BYU Big Boppers.
Yes.
So we swept them, right? Now, what does
Went
Ballinger
injured
do?
Arizona State's Big Bopper.
Well, that was a different time. That was a different era.
They all bopped us.
Yeah. Well, Kian Vu didn't even play.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
Just holding the team back.
yeah. Well, this to me is where the series swings. Brady Ballinger.
Yeah.
If he is productive in a wow, that guy's good sense, like if you notice him this weekend, I think Kansas is going to win the series. If they hold him, if they limit him to say 3 for 14, maybe he gets a home run. Maybe he gets a home run, but he goes 3 for 14. I think TCU wins the series. I don't think either team sweeps. I'd be shocked if either team swept.
If you notice him, like you notice the guy from Southern Miss, we probably lose the series.
Yeah. Yeah, because as good as Stroessnatter is, he's no Brady Bollinger offensively.
And
Now,
some
or
of these
is he?
numbers. Yes.
Could
Now that's
be-
where. Hold on. That's
Can
where I
you
want to go
fix-
next.
Can you
I'm
filter
here.
it for conference only?
No, I can't. I can't. I wish I could, but so this is what I wanted to bring up. Kansas has played a very easy schedule, especially out of conference. It was a joke. We talked about that in the fall or early in the spring with our team previews. We said Kansas will be coming into this series on a high because they're going to play nobody coming into this series. Check mark. Another check mark for a preview. Right? We said that. Kansas's ballpark is one of the most hitter-friendly parks in the country. So, well, for the stadium effects data that I looked at, I think it was for last year.
Kansas to the SEC.
Yeah, we can talk about that more because some of the stadiums on there are a little surprising in the SEC.
I think it just compares what the team does versus what they do somewhere else.
Okay, so let's take that into account. If the stats I'm looking at show that Kansas's ballpark is a hitter-friendly park based on what you just said, that means they drop off on the road. So there's a chance these numbers could be a little inflated. And there's a chance that ours could be a little underinflated. So maybe offense is more evenly matched than we thought.
Well,
that's usually how it is. Where was TCU on this stadium effects list?
A perfect neutral park.
Okay. And that's usually how it plays.
Yeah, it's not as it's not hitter friendly by any means, but it's not as pitcher friendly as we think it is.
Where's UCF on that?
Bro, I don't know. You want me to memorize every school in the country?
Well, no, I was just asking because I don't know. I don't even know the website, but I'm looking at Kansas's schedule, and they put up a ton of runs on UCF on the road.
I think UCF's pitching sucks.
But they went to Arizona State. I mean, 2 runs, 7 runs, 6 runs. I would probably take around that if they did
UCF
that.
pitching sucks. Actually, it's really not that bad, but they don't have anybody really good. They're kind of mid in the conference in pitching.
Oklahoma State, golly, they just hammered.
They have good pitching. Oklahoma State has good pitching.
Was that Gabe Davis at the top?
Sean Youngerman. We're going to talk about the rest of the conference, but man, I was watching this game while I was doing my prep, and they said his name so cool and so naturally, and I forgot how they said it. Coulter. Oh, damn it. I can't remember how they said it because I'm going to fumble through it. Coulter McConley. It's not even close to being right.
McAnally.
Okay.
Anyway, he's been awesome. He got roughed up by BYU tonight. So there's that. All right, let's stay on track here. So I think, man, this is about as close as a series as you can get. I think us being at home for myriad of reasons will give us the edge to win 2 out of 3. I don't see any way either team sweeps. If we sweep, then we're going to need that new sponsor on Monday for the preview for the recap pod.
You're going to be hard.
If we get swept, we're going to have to reevaluate everything we think about this team.
Yeah. If Kansas holds Cooper Moore for Kansas State, we got a shot.
I think that gives us a big advantage to win the series.
A shot to sweep.
Shot to sweep. Yeah. That's our only path to sweep if they're looking ahead to K-State. Yeah. Okay, I think that covers it for the Kansas preview. Y'all want to look around the Big 12 a little bit?
Yes. Sure.
Where do I have it? Stand by. Okay. So here's our series. I'll just go through these in order. So we have Arizona State going to Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's kind of a fake team. I think Arizona State wins that series. Thoughts?
Cincinnati's a weird team,
They are a weird team.
but I think Arizona
Do you
State
guys
probably
do you guys
sweeps
look
them.
at the work I did a couple days ago?
Yeah, totally. But refresh me.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to pull it up because I kind of just forgot I did this. So I ranked every position and position group and the overall WAR for every team in the Big 12.
I remember seeing something like that.
So they're in order here by overall. Cincinnati's here number 8, kind of lower mid of the conference. They struggle at pitching. They have pretty good infield and catching and kind of mid outfield DH.
Actually, they might have the best player in the Big 12.
Oh, this guy right here, Carrington Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number 1 third baseman in the conference. Yes, they do have him. But they have the number 2 catcher. So that's good. You have a third baseman, you have a catcher, and you have a right fielder. Okay, not bad. But look at everywhere else. Their first baseman, their second baseman, shortstop. I mean, center fielder, DH, left fielder, all either mid or lower level in the Big 12.
Weird team.
If we go back and look at Kansas and how we match up with them, we have the advantage in pitching, as we talked about, right?
Okay, TCU's sweeping these clowns.
But they kind of got us on position players. I mean, look, this is the number 1 and number 2 team in the conference right now, according to WAR.
Well, they're going to get here. The wind's going to be blowing from the south, so it's going to be blowing in. They're not going to get their juiced home runs, and they're not going to be crotch grabbing. Ooh.
I hope so.
Dude, we're about to dominate these clowns.
I hope so.
Guarantee it.
Guarantee. We have our first. Shout out to 11.7. Ray, you want to guarantee
that we sweep them? No.
You just said
what
we
a
were
coward.
Dominate them.
Yeah, that's go away, ad.
I am not going to.
That ad will not go away. That ad is not going to
crap.
go away.
That sucks. I wanted to split screen this.
You can't.
Fuck. Okay. All right. We talked about. Oh, hey.
Oh,
no. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Owned.
Shit. That sucks.
Owned.
Okay. Whatever. All right. Arizona State, Cincinnati. Where's Arizona State on here? Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think of them as a
kind of very good at everything.
What the hell? Why is Arizona so low?
They're position players.
They're pitching, man.
Their pitching's good. Arizona, they struggle with position players. I don't know if that's more defense related or offense, but I mean, if you look at their positions individually, first base, third base, left field, those are really important positions, and they have some of the lower ranked guys in the Big 12.
Huh. So, dang, they're getting carried by pitching.
They are getting carried by pitching, yeah.
Was not expecting that.
Nope, me neither. Kind of reverse of what we thought, right? So that is an X mark for our preseason preview. Anyway, so Arizona State versus Cincinnati. I like Arizona State in this. Let's go to UCF, Kansas State. UCF, a really weird team.
Come on, UCF. Expose these frauds.
I think you're exactly right. I think Kansas State, their little hot streak was a fraudulent hot streak.
Because I was right about Florida last year, and I'll be damned if I'm not right about Kansas State.
What do you mean? Florida was like a Final Four team. What are you talking about?
Frauds.
What were you right about? Were you saying they were good?
No, they were fraudulent.
They got the tournament and they run. Anyway.
Did they win it all? No. Frauds.
I think Kansas State is more the team that I watched before Globe Life, thinking these clowns should just fold the program.
They should still fold the program.
So UCF though, they have good players. They're not winning enough games with the players that they have. So I think when we talk about this next week, it's going to be like, don't look at UCF's record. Look at their players.
Man, but they really suck in Big 12 play.
I know. So maybe these numbers are inflated by non-conference. I don't know. I think here's the thing. This weekend with UCF and Kansas State, one of these teams is cooked for the whole season. Either Kansas State are frauds or UCF are frauds. So we have a fraud off in Manhattan this weekend. But what do you guys think? I'm going to go with UCF. They have the better players. I'm going to take UCF in this one.
Dude, you know I'm riding and dying with Central Florida on this. Although it's not on a Tuesday. I'd feel much better if they were playing on a Tuesday.
True, yeah. I don't know. K-State might just luck into another series win. Baylor, Texas Tech.
Oh, my God.
Baylor has the number 2 pitching in the conference, I think, if I remember right.
Number these 2 are having a mid-off.
They have the number 1 pitching in the conference, though.
Yeah, the Friday night guy's pretty good.
They have a good third baseman. They have a good shortstop. They have a good DH. Kind of struggle everywhere else.
They're just
so their lineup is a little weak, but their pitching is very good.
Tech has nothing that you would consider to be good.
Where's Tech's bright spot? There's first baseman and their left fielder.
Show a coach.
Yeah. Texas Tech's bright spot is that the season is over halfway over.
Yeah, give me Baylor in there to go to what? 7 and 8.
Baylor takes 2 of 3.
West Virginia, Houston.
West Virginia.
I think Houston sucks. BYU, Utah, literally, who cares?
Although, okay, I will say, much like the TCU series, West Virginia could get Jeaned that Friday.
Yeah, but they're going to lose the series.
Yeah, Oh, yeah.
We're just talking about series wins, and we're not going to predict sweeps.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think
Martin said sweep.
I think Kansas State's going to beat UCF.
God, I hate that.
I do too, but man, UCF sucks.
They're not good, dude. They're not good, and we don't get a chance to play them head to head. And if they're just going to luck their way to the top of the conference, so we have to deal with them in like a potential shared title situation.
We'll just beat them again at Globe Life.
Yeah, well, that'll be after the regular season's determined. All right, let's move on to wrap up. BYU, Utah, who cares? I think BYU is up big tonight. I can check real quick. Oh, shit. It's 9-8. It's 9-8. We got a banger in Salt Lake. Okay.
The Holy War is warring.
The race to the bottom in the Big 12 is well underway. Okay. And we'll close it out with Oklahoma State going to Arizona.
Oh,
I
think that's going to be sneaky good.
I think it's going to be sneaky good.
Has turned around their season.
We hope so, right? Like they played spoiler for us last week, sweeping K-State.
Yep.
Can they do it again? But if they do it again, now they're inching back into
maybe 6 and 7, Ray. Let's chill out.
Oh, yeah, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as they get halfway, 500 or whatever, they'll be like, they'll put more
dude, dude, Kendall's gonna put them. He's gonna have them in their hosting discussion.
Yeah. And then they'll choke and they'll
feel
lose
the 64. Yeah, give me Arizona 2 out of 3, but give me
Oklahoma State 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
that's fair. I picked them last week against K-State because I think K-State are frauds, and that paid off for me. So
we should have been keeping track of all these predictions and then had like some kind of bet payoff at the end of the season.
Well, we have a producer that could go back and listen to them. All right, let's wrap up here. So we have to. We should note that Barstool's doing a student tailgate tomorrow. Pretty cool. Should be a great scene. Weather should be awesome. So let's pack Lupton for a very pivotal weekend series against Kansas.
So you're
Nikki's
skipping
full and loud.
CCR because you got to get out to Lupton to support the boys.
Nope, sorry. If MK gets like 6 weeks off to go to Arizona and Hawaii and gallivant around the globe,
dude, that is the bear trappiest of bear traps.
No, it's not.
That is.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Brother.
I get 1 weekend to go to a concert.
Brother.
Nope.
Enjoy your concert, Pack Lupton.
Pack Lupton.
Jacob's packing Stillwater.
Yeah. Yeah, Oklahoma State's on the road, so we get all that baseball traffic out of Stillwater. It's going to be clear and easy roads, except for the 250,000 people that'll be in town for Cross Canadian Ragweed. But
well,
anyway.
they've got the roads that can handle. They've got the infrastructure that can kind of handle
dude,
that.
we're staying in
kind of
Oklahoma
traffic.
City. We're staying in Oklahoma City. We're going up Stillwater Saturday morning to get out of the mess, and we'll just spend the day at Eskimo Joe's.
We'll just stay fucking here.
No, it's only like an hour from Oklahoma City to Stillwater.
It's only like an hour and a half from here to
what?
To Oklahoma City.
To fucking Windstar, what are you talking about? 3 hours.
To my parents' house, it's an hour and a half.
You should have stayed in Tulsa, though. I really like Tulsa.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. We got to work.
Tulsa Kings is a good show.
But staying in Stillwater was not a damn option. All those Airbnbs and hotels were booked the F up.
Dude,
even
you could
before.
stay in like a double wide.
Nah.
Last time we went to Stillwater.
We got women on this trip. Got to be bougie.
Oh, well, hey, Martin, I'm sorry. Anna doesn't count.
What are you talking about?
Because she was on the trip with us to Stillwater.
She didn't stay in our hotel room, you dummy.
She stayed we all stayed in
who gives a fuck? This show's over. Show's over. Shout out to Long Drink, Chinook, and Duno. Get out to Lupton starting tomorrow. 3-game series against Kansas. Go Frogs.